6 months after the Great Battle at Mars, Captain Lee Tae-ho found himself in a place he never expected to be, sitting across a negotiation table from the same aliens who had tried to destroy him. The neutral space station where they met was buzzing with representatives from dozens of different species, all curious about the outcome of the human-alien conflict. The war had not gone as the aliens expected. Every battle had ended the same way: human ships enhanced with hybrid technology, outfighting alien vessels that should have been superior. The aliens had advantages in numbers, resources, and centuries of space travel experience. But humanity had something more valuable: the ability to take broken things and make them work better than ever before. Commander Quindal sat across from Tae-ho, looking older and more thoughtful than during their first meeting. Next to him was an alien Tae-ho hadn't met before, the elderly being introduced as Morthek, the original designer of the ship that had crashed on Earth. "Captain Lee," Morthek said through the translator device, "I have studied the recordings of your ship's performance. What you have accomplished should not be possible. Yet here we are," Tae-ho replied diplomatically. Dr. Park So-jin sat beside Tae-ho, her tablet filled with technical data. Over the past months, she had become humanity's expert on alien-human hybrid technology. "Your original design was excellent," she said to Morthek, "but it was never optimized for maximum performance. Our designs prioritize reliability over performance," the alien engineer replied. "This has served us well for thousands of years. But it also meant you never pushed your technology to its true potential," Kim Dong-woo added from his seat beside Dr. Park. "You built things to be safe and predictable, but not necessarily as good as they could be." Morthek's large eyes studied the human engineers with growing interest. "Show me," he said simply. Dr. Park activated her tablet, projecting a holographic display of the Resilience's power core. "This is your original reactor design," she explained, highlighting different components. "You tuned it to operate at stable, safe levels. But look what happens when we adjust the quantum field harmonics." The display showed the modifications the human team had made, with power output readings that made Morthek's eyes widen in surprise. 430% of design specifications? The alien engineer said in disbelief. "The reactor should explode at those power levels." "It would with your original control systems," Kim explained. "But we rebuilt the safety systems to handle the increased output. We didn't just tune the reactor, we improved everything connected to it." Commander Quindal leaned forward. "This is why our fleets could not defeat you. Your ships were performing far beyond our projections. Beyond our projections too initially," Tae-ho admitted. "But we kept pushing, kept improving. Every battle taught us something new about what the hybrid systems could do." Choi Hee-rim, who had been serving as the primary translator, spoke up. "Commander, there's something we need to understand. Why did your people see our improvements as an insult instead of an achievement?" Quindal was quiet for a moment before answering. "Our civilization has existed for 50,000 years. We have always been the teachers, never the students. To have a young species take our technology and make it better, it challenged everything we believed about our place in the galaxy. But now?" Tae-ho asked. "Now we must face the reality that our approach to technology may be limited." Morthek had been studying the technical displays intently. "Captain Lee, would your people be willing to teach us these enhancement techniques?" Dr. Park looked surprised. "You want to learn from us?" "I have been designing starships for 300 years, the alien engineer replied. "In that time, I believed I understood the limits of what was possible. Your modifications have shown me that I was wrong. There is still much I can learn." Over the following hours, the negotiations took on a completely different tone. Instead of demands for surrender, the aliens were asking for knowledge exchange. They wanted to understand how humans had achieved such dramatic improvements to alien technology. "The key is in our philosophy," Dr. Park explained during a break in the formal negotiations. "Your people see a broken machine as something to be discarded. We see it as a puzzle to be solved. Your approach is wasteful from our perspective," Morthek said, though not unkindly. "You spend enormous resources fixing things that could be simply replaced. But in learning to fix everything, we also learn to improve everything," Kim pointed out. "Every repair teaches us something new about how the system works," Han Mi-young, who had joined the negotiations as the Resilience's pilot, added her perspective. Your flight control systems were designed to be perfect and unchanging. But perfect for what? They couldn't adapt to new situations or unexpected challenges, whereas your systems, Quindal said thoughtfully. Our systems assume that the pilot knows things the computer doesn't, Han replied. They're designed to work with human intuition and creativity, not replace it. The breakthrough moment came when Yoon Jae-sung demonstrated the hybrid targeting system he had developed. The alien military observers were amazed to see weapons that could adapt their firing patterns in real time based on the tactical situation. Our weapons have always been precisely calibrated, one of the alien officers explained. They fire exactly as designed every time, which makes them predictable, Yoon replied. An enemy can learn to counter a weapon that always behaves the same way. But our system can change tactics mid-battle. As the days of negotiation continued, both sides began to see the possibilities of cooperation rather than conflict. The aliens had advanced base technologies that humanity couldn't match. But humans had optimization and improvement techniques that the aliens had never developed. Proposal, Taeho said during the final negotiation session. Joint exploration missions. Human-enhanced ships with mixed crews. We share our improvement techniques, you share your advanced base technologies. Both species benefit, Morthek nodded eagerly. I would very much like to work alongside your engineers. There is much I could learn about optimization and enhancement. Commander Quindal was more cautious. The High Council will need guarantees. Our technology cannot be shared with hostile parties. Then it's good that we're no longer hostile, Taeho replied with a smile. The final agreement was signed 3 days later. Humanity would share its enhancement and optimization techniques in exchange for access to more advanced alien-based technologies. Joint research stations would be established, and mixed crews would explore regions of space that neither species could safely investigate alone. As the Resilients prepared to depart the space station, Vextar, the alien captain who had first encountered their enhanced ship, requested permission to come aboard as an exchange. Officer, I want to understand how you make your ships respond so precisely to pilot control, he explained to Han. Our best pilots are limited by their equipment. Your equipment enhances what the pilot can do. Standing on the bridge of the Resilients, surrounded by both human and alien crew members, Taeho reflected on how much had changed since they first discovered the crashed ship in the Korean mountains. What had begun as humanity's first contact with alien technology had evolved into something much more valuable. Mutual respect between species with different but complementary strengths. Course laid in for the Centauri system, Han reported from her station, now assisted by an alien observer learning human piloting techniques. The Joint Research Station is expecting us in 3 days, Choi added, coordinating with both human and alien communication networks. Dr. Park and Morthek were already deep in discussion about their next project, enhancing alien sensor technology with human optimization principles as the Resilients jumped to hyperspace. Leading a small fleet of both human and alien vessels, Taeho knew they were making history. The war that had begun with aliens trying to reclaim their worthless technology had ended, with both species working together to push the boundaries of what was possible. The abandoned alien ship had taught humanity an important lesson. One being's trash could truly be another being's treasure, but more than that, it had shown that the real treasure wasn't in the technology itself, it was in the willingness to see potential where others saw only problems. The galaxy was vast and full of abandoned things waiting for someone with the vision and skill to make them great again. Humanity had proven they had both, and now they had partners who were eager to learn. Together, they would find new treasures in the discarded dreams of civilizations across the stars. In the end, the worthless starship had become something far more valuable than even its enhanced technology. It had become the foundation for friendship between species, who had more to learn from each other than they had ever imagined. The meeting at Kepler Station had not gone as anyone expected. What began as a technical discussion between human and alien engineers quickly turned into a political crisis that spread across multiple star systems. Captain Lee, Taeho sat in his ready room aboard the Resilience, reading reports from Earth Command on his personal tablet. The news was not good. 3 months had passed since their demonstration at Kepler Station, and the alien government had declared humanity's ship modifications to be an insult to galactic order. Captain, Choi Hai-Rim's voice came through the intercom. Incoming priority message from Earth Command. Put it through. Admiral Park Jin-woo's face appeared on the screen, looking tired and worried. Tae-ho, we have a problem. The aliens have issued an ultimatum. They want all human-modified alien technology surrendered, or they will take it by force. What's our response? Tae-ho asked. Earth's position is simple. We legally salvaged abandoned property and improved it with our own technology. We will not surrender ships that are now more human than alien. Tae-ho nodded. How many ships do we have now? That's the good news. Kim Dong-woo's teams have been working around the clock. We now have 12 enhanced ships operational, with more being completed every week. Over the past months, humanity had found several other alien wrecks scattered across various worlds. Each one had been written off by the aliens as too expensive to repair, but human engineering teams had brought them back to life. Every restored ship was better than the original, enhanced with human improvements and hybrid systems. The bad news, Admiral Park continued, is that the aliens have assembled a battle fleet of over 100 ships. They're calling it a cleansing operation to remove the contaminated technology from human hands. After the call ended, Tae-ho made his way to the bridge where his crew was preparing for what everyone knew was coming. War. Dr. Park So-jin was running final checks on their enhanced systems. All hybrid components are performing perfectly, Captain. We're operating at 420% of original alien specifications now. Kim Dong-woo had outdone himself over the past months. Not content with just repairing alien technology, he had begun designing entirely new systems that combined the best of human and alien engineering. The new shield generators are online, he reported. They should be able to absorb 3 times more damage than the original alien designs. Han Mi-young was at her pilot station, running through combat maneuvers. Captain, I've been studying alien fleet tactics. They rely heavily on overwhelming firepower and rigid formations. If we can break their formation, we can beat them. How do we break the formation of 100 ships with just 12? Tae-ho asked. Yoon Jae-sung looked up from his tactical display with a grim smile. By doing what they least expect, attacking first. The human fleet had gathered near Mars using the planet's orbital stations as their base of operations. 12 ships against over 100 seemed like impossible odds. But the humans had advantages the aliens didn't understand. All ships reporting ready. Captain, Choi reported from her communication station. Open fleet communication, Tae-ho ordered. The bridge's main screen split into multiple windows, showing the captains of the other 11 human-enhanced ships. Most were Korean officers like himself, but there were also Americans, Europeans, and others, all united by their determination to protect what humanity had built. Fleet commanders, Tae-ho began. Long-range sensors show the alien fleet approaching our position. They outnumber us 10 to 1, but every one of our ships performs better than their best vessels. Remember, they think in rigid patterns. We adapt and improvise. Use that advantage, Captain Kim Hae-jin of the ship Determination nodded grimly. Our orders, sir? Hit them fast, hit them hard, and keep moving. Don't let them pin you down with their superior numbers. Target their command ships first. Disrupt their coordination. Han Mi-young suddenly called out. Alien fleet detected on long-range sensors. 115 ships approaching in standard battle formation. All ships, battle stations, Tae-ho announced. Remember, we're not just fighting for these ships, we're fighting for humanity's right to improve what others throw away. The alien fleet emerged from hyperspace in a perfect geometric formation that must have looked impressive to them, but to human eyes it looked predictable and inflexible. They're hailing us, Choi reported. On screen, Commander Quindall appeared, but now he was flanked by several other high-ranking aliens. Captain Lee Tae-ho, you will surrender your contaminated vessels immediately. This is your final warning. Commander Quindall, Tae-ho replied calmly. These ships are legally ours. We will not surrender technology that we ourselves improved. Your improvements are an abomination, one of the other aliens declared. You have perverted our designs beyond recognition. We have made them better, Dr. Park's voice came from the engineering station. Impossible. Your species lacks the sophistication to improve our technology. Tae-ho smiled coldly. Would you like another demonstration? The alien fleet began moving into attack position. their ships maintaining perfect formation spacing. It was exactly what the human commanders had expected. All ships, execute attack pattern Delta, Tejo ordered. The 12 human ships suddenly scattered in different directions, moving far faster than the aliens expected. The enhanced engines Kim had designed allowed acceleration that the original alien ships could never match. The alien fleet tried to adjust their formation to target the dispersed human ships, but they were too slow and too rigid. While they were repositioning, the human ship struck. Captain Kim Hae-jin's ship dove straight through the center of the alien formation, her enhanced weapons taking out 3 enemy vessels before they could react. The Resilience attacked from above, Yoon's precision targeting disabling the alien command ship's communications array. Their coordination is breaking down, Han observed as she piloted the Resilience through a series of maneuvers that would have been impossible with the original alien flight systems. The battle became a masterclass in human versus alien tactical thinking. The aliens stuck to their formation-based combat, trying to surround and overwhelm individual human ships, but the human vessels were too fast and too unpredictable. They darted in and out of the alien formation like wasps attacking a giant, each strike precisely calculated to cause maximum disruption. Kim Dong-woo's enhanced systems proved their worth as alien weapons that should have destroyed human ships were absorbed by the improved shields. Dr. Park's power optimizations allowed the human weapons to punch through alien defenses that should have been impregnable. Alien flagship is trying to withdraw, Yoon reported. Should I pursue? Negative. Let them report back what they've seen. After 2 hours of combat, the alien fleet began retreating. They had lost over 40 ships without destroying a single human vessel. The remaining aliens limped away, their perfect formation in ruins. All ships report minimal damage, Choi announced. We have achieved complete victory. On the main screen, Commander Quindal's face showed a mixture of shock and grudging respect. This is about impossible. Your ships should not have been able to defeat our fleet. Your ships fight like computers, Han called out from her station. Ours fight like humans. We will report this defeat to the High Council, Quindal said. But I suspect they will not believe it. Tell them this, Tejo replied. Humanity doesn't just fix broken technology. We make it better than it ever was. Your worthless ships have become the most advanced vessels in the galaxy. As the alien fleet disappeared into hyperspace, the human crews couldn't help but celebrate. They had just won the most important battle in human history, proving that innovation and adaptability could triumph over superior numbers. Captain, Dr. Park said over the intercom, Earth Command is reporting that more alien wrecks have been discovered. Apparently the aliens are abandoning damaged ships rather than face us in combat. Tejo laughed. Then we'll keep fixing them and making them better. Every ship they abandon makes humanity stronger. The war was far from over, but humanity had sent a clear message. The aliens might have better technology, but humans knew how to use it better than the aliens themselves. Every piece of worthless alien garbage was a treasure waiting to be unlocked by human ingenuity. The Resilience and her sister ships had proven that sometimes the best way to win a war was not to build better weapons, but to take your enemy's discarded weapons and make them work better than ever before. 3 weeks after their encounter with Vextar, Captain Lee Tae-ho stood on the bridge of their enhanced ship, now officially named the Resilience. The ship was on patrol near Jupiter, testing its long-range capabilities, when Choi Hiram detected multiple alien signatures approaching fast. Captain, I count 6 alien vessels heading straight for us, she reported from her communication station. Battle stations, Tae-ho ordered calmly. The crew had been expecting this confrontation ever since their first meeting with Vextar. Han Mi-young's hands danced over her pilot controls, bringing the Resilience to full readiness. The ship's enhanced engines hummed with power that the original alien designers never imagined possible. Ship is ready for combat maneuvers, Captain. Weapon systems online, Yoon Jae-sung announced from his tactical station. All weapon ports are charged and ready. Dr. Park So-jin's voice came through the intercom from the engine room. Power core is stable at maximum output. All hybrid systems are showing green across the board. The main screen flickered to life, showing 6 sleek alien warships arranged in a battle formation. These were not the simple patrol vessel they had encountered before. These were military ships, designed for war. Incoming transmission, Choi reported. On screen, the display showed a different alien from Vextar. This one was larger, with more elaborate clothing that suggested high rank. When it spoke, its voice was cold and commanding. "I am Fleet Commander Quindal," Choi translated. "You will surrender the stolen vessel immediately or face destruction." Taeho stood up, projecting calm authority. "I am Captain Lee Taeho of the Earth vessel Resilience. This ship was legally salvaged from your abandoned wreck. We have every right to possess it." The alien commander's response was swift and angry. "You have contaminated our technology with your primitive modifications. The vessel is now useless to us, but we cannot allow our technology to remain in inferior hands." "Inferior?" Taeho raised an eyebrow. "Would you like us to demonstrate just how inferior our modifications are?" Before the alien could respond, Kim Dongwoo's voice came from engineering. "Captain, their ships are charging weapons. I'm reading massive energy buildups." "Evasive maneuvers," Taeho ordered. Han threw the Resilience into a spinning dive that would have been impossible with the original alien control systems. The ship moved like a dancer, gracefully avoiding the barrage of alien weapons fire that filled the space where they had been seconds before. "Return fire," Taeho commanded. Yoon's enhanced targeting system locked onto the lead alien ship and fired. The hybrid human-alien weapon struck with precision, overloading the enemy's shields in a single volley. The alien ship reeled backward, clearly damaged. On the screen, Commander Quindal looked shocked. "Impossible. Your weapons cannot be that powerful." "We made some improvements," Taeho replied calmly. The alien fleet regrouped and attacked again, this time with coordinated fire patterns. But Han was ready for them. The Resilience twisted and spun through the alien formation, its enhanced engines allowing maneuvers that seemed to defy physics. "Their tactical system is completely rigid," Yoon observed as he tracked the alien ships. "They're following predetermined attack patterns. No creativity at all." He targeted another alien ship, leading it perfectly as it followed its programmed course. The weapon strike crippled its engines, sending it drifting helplessly through space. "Two down, 4 to go," Han called out, spinning the ship around to face the remaining enemies. But the aliens were learning. Instead of their rigid formations, they began spreading out, trying to surround the Resilience. "They're adapting," Yoon warned. "Not fast enough," Taeho replied. "Dr. Park, give me everything the power core can handle." "Already at maximum safe output, Captain," came the reply from engineering. "Then give me maximum unsafe output." There was a pause. Then Dr. Park's voice came back with a hint of excitement. "Boosting to 400% of original alien specifications. Hold on to something." The ship's power reading spiked dramatically. Every system on the Resilience suddenly performed far beyond its design limits. The engines roared with power. The weapons charged faster than ever before, and even the shields became noticeably stronger. "Now that's what I call human engineering." Kim laughed from his station. The enhanced power allowed Han to outmaneuver all 4 remaining alien ships simultaneously. She spun the Resilience through impossible loops and turns, always staying 1 step ahead of their weapons fire. Meanwhile, Yoon's targeting systems, boosted by the extra power, could now track and fire at multiple targets at once. He systematically disabled the alien ship's weapons and engines, leaving them helpless but not destroyed. Within 10 minutes of intense combat, all 6 alien ships were floating dead in space, their crews alive but their vessels completely disabled. On the main screen, Commander Quindal looked like he couldn't believe what had happened. "This is impossible. 6 military vessels defeated by 1 salvaged wreck?" "1 enhanced salvaged wreck," Taeho corrected. "Would you like us to tow your ship somewhere safe?" The alien commander's pride was clearly wounded, but he was also curious. "Your vessel, it moves unlike anything in our fleet." "How is this possible?" "We gave our pilot actual control over the ship," Han called out from her station. "Your ships can only fly where their computers tell them to go." "And your weapons," Quindal continued. "They fired with precision we have never achieved. Human targeting systems," Yoon explained. "We can adapt our tactics in real time instead of following pre-programmed patterns." "Your power output," the alien shook his head. "Our instruments showed readings that should not be possible from that class of reactor." Dr. Park's voice came through the intercom. "We optimized the quantum field harmonics. Your people built the reactor to be safe, but you never bothered to tune it for maximum efficiency." Commander Quindal was quiet for a long moment, clearly processing what he had learned. Finally, he spoke again. We may have underestimated your species' capabilities. That seems to be a common mistake, Tejo replied diplomatically. This battle will be studied by our military academies, the alien commander admitted. One vessel should not have been able to defeat 6 warships so easily. Would you like to know how we did it? Dr. Park asked through the intercom. The alien's large eyes widened with interest. You would share your techniques? Why not? Tejo said. You threw this ship away as worthless garbage. We turned it into something better than your newest warships. Maybe your people could learn something from our approach. Choi Hirim looked up from her translation work. Captain, I think we've got their attention. Commander Quindal is asking if we would be willing to meet with their fleet engineers. Tell him we're always willing to talk, Tejo replied. But the meeting will be on neutral ground and we come as equals, not as prisoners. The alien commander considered this for a moment, then nodded. Agreed. We will arrange a meeting at the Kepler station, a neutral trading post. Our engineers are curious about your modifications. As the disabled alien ships began limping away under emergency power, the crew of the Resilience couldn't help but feel proud of what they had accomplished. They had taken the aliens' discarded technology and made it so much better that their newest warships couldn't compete. Captain, Dr. Park said over the intercom, I'm getting requests from Earth Command. They want to know if we can do the same modifications to other alien wrecks. Tejo smiled. There had been other alien crashes over the years, most of them written off as too damaged to be useful. But if humanity could turn one piece of alien garbage into a ship that outperformed the aliens' best warships, what could they do with more resources? Tell Earth Command that we'll need bigger workshops, he replied. Han Mi-young laughed from her pilot station. I can't wait to see what we can build when we're not starting with a crashed wreck. As the Resilience turned toward the Kepler station, its crew knew they were making history. Humanity had proven that sometimes the greatest treasures were the things others threw away. They just needed the vision, to see the potential and the skill to make it reality. The abandoned alien ship had become something entirely new, a hybrid of human ingenuity and alien technology that was better than either species could have built alone, and this was only the beginning. 2 years after the crash, the alien ship looked nothing like the broken wreck they had first discovered. The hull gleamed with patches of human-made metal welded seamlessly into the original alien structure. New antenna arrays sprouted from the top, and the engine ports glowed with a steady blue light that had never been there before. Kim Dong-woo stood in what used to be the ship's main engine room, admiring his work. Where once there had been dead alien machinery, now human and alien technology worked together in perfect harmony. He had spent months learning how each alien component worked, then figuring out how to build human parts that could interface with them. The hybrid power coupling is holding steady, he called out to Dr. Park So-jin, who was monitoring the systems from the main control room. Excellent, her voice came back through the intercom. Bring the secondary engines online. Kim flipped a series of switches, half alien design, half human engineering. The room filled with a deeper hum as more power flowed through the ship's systems. On his displays, readings showed power levels that the original alien designers had never imagined possible. The ship's control room had been completely transformed. Captain Lee Tae-ho sat in the captain's chair, a human addition since the original alien chair was too large and uncomfortable. Around him, his crew worked at stations that blended alien technology with human interfaces. Han Mi-young sat at the pilot's station, her hands resting on controls that looked like nothing else in the galaxy. The original alien flight system had been completely replaced with something that responded to human reflexes and instincts. Navigation systems are online, she reported. Manual flight controls are responding perfectly. Weapon systems ready, added Yoon Jae-sung from his tactical station. The alien weapons were still there, but now they were controlled by human targeting systems that could adapt and improvise in ways the original designers never intended. Choi Hye-rim sat at the communications station, monitoring both human and alien frequencies. All channels clear, Captain. No alien ships detected in the area. Tae-ho smiled. Today was the day they would find out if all their hard work had paid off. 2 years of effort had gone into transforming the worthless alien wreck into something entirely new. Dr. Park, status report, he said into his headset. All systems are green, Captain, came the reply. Power core is operating at 340% of original alien specifications. All hybrid systems are stable. 340%. Taeho still couldn't believe what Dr. Park had accomplished. She had taken the alien power core and, through careful tuning and human engineering improvements, boosted its output far beyond what its creators thought possible. Engineering crew, prepare for launch sequence, Taeho announced. In the engine room, Kim Dong-woo grinned as he made final preparations. Every system in the ship was a testament to human ingenuity. Where the aliens had built disposable modules, humans had created repairable, upgradable components. Where the aliens had accepted good enough, humans had pushed for as good as it can possibly be. Launch sequence initiated, Han Mi-young announced. The ship began to rise from its mountain clearing. But unlike the clumsy, pre-programmed flight patterns the aliens had used, this ascent was smooth and controlled. Han's human instincts guided the ship upward with a grace that no alien computer could match. "We are airborne," she reported, unable to keep the excitement out of her voice. From the ground, the research team watched their project lift into the sky. What had once been an abandoned piece of alien junk was now humanity's first interstellar spacecraft, and it was better than anything the aliens had ever built. "Take us to orbit," Taeho ordered. The ship climbed higher, breaking through the atmosphere with ease. The enhanced engines that Kim had rebuilt provided more than enough power for a smooth transition to spaceflight. "Orbit achieved," Han reported. "All systems operating perfectly." "Now for the real test," Yoon Jae-sung said from his weapons station. "Captain, should we test the combat systems?" Taeho nodded. "Find us an asteroid. Let's see what our guns can do." Han maneuvered the ship toward a large asteroid floating nearby. The alien weapons had originally been designed to fire in predictable patterns at pre-selected targets. But Yoon had completely rebuilt the targeting system to work with human tactical thinking. "Target locked," Yoon announced. "Firing." The ship's main gun fired and the asteroid exploded in a brilliant flash. But unlike the aliens' rigid firing patterns, Yoon immediately adjusted his aim and fired again, destroying several smaller pieces with precision shots. "Incredible," Taeho breathed. The aliens never would have been able to make those follow-up shots. Their system would have taken 30 seconds to retarget, Yoon agreed. "Our hybrid system can adjust in real time." Dr. Park's voice came over the intercom from the engine room, where she was monitoring the weapon's power consumption. "And we're using 40% less power than the original alien weapons would have needed for the same shots. Every system they tested exceeded expectations." The ship's shields, reinforced with human metallurgy techniques, were stronger than the original design. The sensors, enhanced with human electronics, could detect objects much further away. Even the life support system worked better than before, since humans had optimized the air recycling processes. "Captain," Choi Hye-rim suddenly called out from her communication station, "I'm detecting an alien ship approaching our position." Everyone on the bridge tensed. This was the moment they had all been wondering about. What would happen when they encountered the aliens who had abandoned this ship? "On screen," Taeho ordered. The main display showed a sleek alien vessel approaching them. It was similar in design to their own ship, but clearly newer and in perfect condition. "They're hailing us," Choi reported. "Open communications." The screen flickered, and suddenly they were face to face with an alien being. It was tall and thin, with gray skin and large dark eyes. When it spoke, its voice was deep and rumbling. Choi quickly translated. "It says its name is Vextar and it's demanding to know what we've done to their ship." Taeho stood up, straightening his uniform. "Tell Vextar that we are Captain Lee Taeho of Earth, and this ship was abandoned on our planet. We have salvaged and repaired it according to our laws," Choi translated, and the alien's response was immediate and angry. "It says the ship was their property, and we had no right to take it," Choi reported. "It wants the ship returned immediately. Tell Vextar that abandoned property becomes salvage after a reasonable time," Taeho replied calmly. "This ship has been on our world for over 2 years with no attempt at recovery." The alien's response was even angrier. Choi looked worried as she translated. "It says we've contaminated their technology with our primitive modifications. It claims the ship is now worthless because of what we've done to it." Taeho almost laughed. "Worthless? Tell Vextar that this ship now performs far better than it ever did in alien hands." As if to prove the point, Han suddenly jerked the ship to the left, avoiding what looked like a warning shot from the alien vessel. The maneuver was so smooth and fast that it would have been impossible with the original alien control systems. "Impressive reflexes," the alien said, and for the first time its tone seemed less angry and more curious. "Our pilot has full manual control," Taeho explained, "something your original design never allowed." Yoon spoke up from his station. "Captain, their weapons are charging. Should I return the favor?" "Target their weapon systems, but do not fire unless they do," Taeho ordered. On the screen they could see Vextar looking at readings from its own instruments. The alien's large eyes grew even wider. "Impossible," it said, the translation coming through clearly. "Your power readings are... How are you generating so much energy?" "We optimized your power core," Dr. Park's voice came through the intercom. "Your people built it to be safe and stable, but you never bothered to tune it properly." The alien ship fired a warning shot that passed close to their hull. But instead of the shot overloading their shields like it would have with the original alien design, the enhanced human-alien hybrid shields absorbed the energy easily. "Your defensive systems," Vextar said, looking at its instruments in confusion. "They should have failed. We improved them," Taeho said simply. For a long moment the alien just stared at them. Finally it spoke again. "This is not possible. You are a primitive species. You should not be able to enhance our technology. Yet here we are," Taeho replied. The alien ship suddenly accelerated, trying to get behind them for a better attack position. But Han was ready, spinning their ship around in a maneuver that no alien pilot had ever attempted. The enhanced engines and human reflexes made the ship dance through space like a fighter rather than a heavy cruiser. "Your ship moves like nothing I have ever seen," Vextar admitted. "That's because your people never let their pilots actually pilot," Han called out from her station. The confrontation continued for several more minutes, with the alien testing their capabilities and finding that every system exceeded the original specifications. Finally, Vextar's ship backed away. "This encounter will be reported to the fleet," the alien warned. "Others will come." "We'll be ready," Taeho replied confidently. 6 months had passed since the discovery, and the mountain clearing looked completely different. Where once there had been only trees and rocks, now there was a small city of white buildings and research labs. The alien ship sat in the center of it all, surrounded by cranes, scaffolding, and cables running to dozens of computers. Dr. Park So-jin wiped sweat from her forehead as she climbed out of the ship's engine room. Her white lab coat was dirty, and her hands were stained with strange alien fluids that glowed faintly blue. She had been working inside the ship for 14 hours straight, but she couldn't contain her excitement. "Kim Dong-woo," she called out to the mechanic who was welding something on the ship's outer hull. "You need to see this." Kim shut off his torch and pulled up his welding mask. Over the past months, he had become the base's expert on alien mechanical systems. His small workshop was now filled with alien parts that he had carefully taken apart and studied. "What did you find?" he asked, climbing down from his scaffold. "I think I finally understand how their repair system works," Dr. Park said, leading him toward her computer lab. "Or rather, how it doesn't work." The research facility buzzed with activity. Choi Hee-rim sat at a desk covered with alien symbols, slowly building a translation database. She had been working on the alien language for months, and she was starting to understand basic concepts. Captain Lee Taeho walked between the different workstations, coordinating the research efforts. In Dr. Park's lab, computer screens showed detailed diagrams of alien ship systems. The walls were covered with printouts of alien text and human translations. "Look at this," Dr. Park said, pointing to a diagram on her main screen. "This is how their engine system is designed. See these connections? Everything is modular." Kim studied the diagram. "Like building blocks?" "Exactly. But here's the interesting part. When something breaks, they don't fix it. They just throw it away and plug in a new module." Kim frowned. "That seems wasteful." "It is wasteful. But it also explains why they abandoned the ship." Dr. Park pulled up another diagram, this one showing the ship's current condition. "Look at all the red areas. Those are damaged modules. By alien standards, this ship is completely worthless because it would cost more to replace all these modules than to build a new ship. But we could fix those modules," Kim said, understanding dawning on his face. "Exactly. They never developed ways to repair individual components because they never needed to. They just swap out broken parts." Captain Lee Taeho joined them, having overheard their conversation. "Are you saying this ship can be repaired?" I'm saying it can be more than repaired, Dr. Park replied. We can make it better than it was originally. Across the lab, Choi Hee-rim looked up from her translation work. I found something interesting in the alien records, she said. They have a word that appears in all the files about this ship. The best translation I can come up with is obsolete beyond recovery. What does that mean exactly? Tae-ho asked. Near as I can tell, it means the ship was already considered outdated before it crashed. The aliens who were flying it were using it for some kind of low-priority mission. When it got damaged, they decided it wasn't worth the cost to fix. Kim laughed. They threw away a perfectly good spaceship because it was too much trouble to repair? From their perspective, yes, Dr. Park said. But we've been fixing and improving things for thousands of years. What they see as impossible, we see as a challenge. Over the following weeks, the human team made breakthrough after breakthrough. Kim Dong-woo figured out how to repair the alien modules by rebuilding them from the inside. Instead of swapping out broken parts, he learned to fix the individual components that the aliens had designed to be disposable. Dr. Park discovered that many of the ship's systems were running far below their potential efficiency. The aliens had built them with wide safety margins and never bothered to optimize them. Using human engineering principles, she found ways to boost the power output of various systems by significant amounts. Yoon Jae-sung, the team's military specialist, had been studying the ship's weapon systems. Most of them were damaged, but he realized the damage was mostly to the targeting computers, not the weapons themselves. Their targeting system is completely automated, he explained to the others during one of their daily briefings. It just shoots at whatever the computer tells it to shoot at. There's no way for the pilot to override or adjust the targeting. Can we fix the targeting computers? Tae-ho asked. Better than that, Yoon replied with a grin. We can replace them with human systems. Give the pilot direct control over the weapons. Make them far more flexible than they ever were originally. Han Mi-young, who had joined the team as a pilot and navigation expert, had been studying the ship's flight controls. Same thing with the navigation, she reported. Their system only follows pre-programmed flight paths. There's no manual control at all. No manual control? Tae-ho asked, surprised. None. The ship can only fly where the computer tells it to fly. If the computer breaks, the ship is helpless. But we can change that? Already working on it, Han replied. I'm designing a manual control system that interfaces with their engines. Give a human pilot full control over the ship's movement. As the months passed, the research team began to see the bigger picture. The aliens had built their technology to be simple and standardized. Everything was designed to work the same way, with no variation or customization. It was efficient for mass production, but it left no room for improvement or adaptation. Humans, on the other hand, had always been tinkerers and improvers. They took whatever they had and made it work better. They adapted tools for new purposes and found ways to squeeze more performance out of everything they built. Dr. Park made the most significant discovery late one evening. She had been working on the ship's power core, trying to understand why it was running at such low efficiency. The alien manual said it was operating normally, but her instruments showed it was producing far less power than it should be capable of. Kim, come look at this, she called out. Kim hurried over to where she was working deep inside the ship's engine room. The power core was a massive crystal structure that hummed with energy, surrounded by alien machinery that looked like nothing humans had ever built. What am I looking at? Kim asked. The power core's harmonic frequency, Dr. Park said, showing him her computer readings. Look at these wave patterns. They're all over the place. Is that bad? It's inefficient. The aliens tuned this system to be safe and stable, but they never optimized it. Look what happens when I adjust the harmonic frequency by just a few degrees. She made a small adjustment to one of the alien control panels. Immediately, the power readings on her computer jumped upward. The power output just increased by 15%, Kim said, amazed. And that's with just a tiny adjustment. I think we can boost this thing's power output way beyond what the aliens ever imagined. By the end of the 6 months, the human research team had completely changed their understanding of the alien ship. What the aliens had seen as worthless junk, humans saw as a treasure trove of technology waiting to be improved. Captain Lee Tae-ho stood on the observation deck, looking down at the ship that had become the center of their world. Teams of humans crawled over its surface like ants, installing new systems, repairing old ones, and making improvements that the original builders had never dreamed of. How long before we can test it? He asked Dr. Park, who had joined him on the deck. "Another few months for basic flight capability," she replied. "But Taeho, when we're done with this ship, it's going to be like nothing the galaxy has ever seen. We're not just fixing it, we're making it into something completely new." Taeho nodded, feeling a surge of pride in what humanity could accomplish. The aliens had thrown away this ship as worthless garbage. Soon they would learn what humans could do with their cast-offs. The thunder crashed across the Korean mountains like the world was breaking apart. Captain Lee Taeho pulled his coat tighter as he watched the storm tear through the valley below. Lightning lit up the dark sky every few seconds, and the rain hammered against the windows of the military outpost. "Sir, we're getting strange readings from Sector 7, called out Lieutenant Park from the radar station. His voice was tight with worry. Taeho walked over to look at the screen. The radar showed something massive had crashed into the mountain about 20 kilometers away. The object was huge, bigger than any aircraft he had ever seen. "Could be a plane crash," Park said, but he didn't sound convinced. "No plane is that big," Taeho replied. He grabbed the radio. "Command, this is Mountain Base. We have a possible crash in Sector 7. Requesting permission to investigate." The radio crackled back almost immediately. "Permission granted, Captain. Take a full team. Weather services say the storm will clear by morning." The next morning came with clear blue skies, as if the violent storm had never happened. Taeho gathered his team, 6 soldiers and 2 scientists from Seoul. Dr. Park So-jin was a smart woman who knew everything about aircraft and spacecraft. Kim Dong-woo was the best mechanic in the Korean military. If something was broken, he could fix it. They loaded into 3 military trucks and started the bumpy ride toward Sector 7. The roads were rough, and the trucks had to move slowly around fallen trees from the storm. After 2 hours of driving, they reached the crash site. What they found made everyone stop and stare. A massive ship sat in a clearing between the mountains. It was dark gray and looked like nothing humans had ever built. The ship was about the size of 4 city blocks, with smooth curves and strange angles that hurt to look at. Smoke was still rising from several holes in its hull. "That's not one of ours," whispered one of the soldiers. "It's not from anywhere on Earth," Dr. Park So-jin said quietly. She was already pulling out her equipment to take measurements. The ship had crashed nose first into the mountain, leaving a deep gouge in the rock. Pieces of strange metal were scattered around the area. Some of the metal looked like it was still glowing with a faint blue light. "Stay together," Taeho ordered. "We don't know if it's safe." As they got closer, they could see that the ship was badly damaged. There were holes in the hull big enough to walk through. Strange pipes and cables hung out of the openings like the guts of some giant metal animal. Kim Dong-woo bent down to examine a piece of the hull that had fallen off. "This metal is like nothing I've ever seen," he said. "It's lighter than aluminum but feels stronger than steel." Dr. Park was running her scanner over the ship's surface. "I'm getting energy readings," she announced. "Whatever powers this thing, it's still active." They found an opening in the side of the ship that looked like it might be a door. The metal around it was bent and twisted from the crash. Taeho led the team inside, their flashlights cutting through the darkness. The inside of the ship was even more strange than the outside. The corridors were too wide and too tall, as if built for people much bigger than humans. The walls were covered with panels that flickered with dim lights. Everything was curved and organic-looking, like the inside of some giant creature. "Look at this," called out Dr. Park. She was standing in front of a wall covered with symbols that glowed faintly. "It's some kind of writing, but I've never seen anything like it." They explored deeper into the ship. Most of the rooms were empty, but they found what looked like a control room near the front. Huge screens covered the walls, though most of them were dark or showing strange patterns. In the center of the room was a chair that was clearly too big for any human. Kim Dong-woo was examining what looked like control panels. "Whatever crashed this ship, they left in a hurry," he said. "Look, some of these panels are still warm." Dr. Park was taking pictures of everything with her camera. "We need to document all of this before we touch anything," she said. As they continued exploring, they found more evidence that the ship had been abandoned quickly. Personal items, or at least what looked like personal items, were scattered around some rooms. Strange tools lay on tables as if their owners had just put them down and walked away. In what might have been sleeping quarters, they found something that looked like a recording device. It was about the size of a book, made of the same strange metal as the ship. When Dr. Park picked it up, it started glowing and making sounds. "It's activated," she said excitedly. This could be their version of a black box. The sounds coming from the device didn't sound like any human language. They were deep and rumbling with clicks and whistles mixed in. But there was something else. The sounds had a pattern, like someone was explaining something important. "We need to get this back to base," Taeho said, "and we need to get experts here immediately." They spent the rest of the day taking pictures and gathering small samples of the strange materials. The ship was so big that they had only explored a tiny portion of it. Every room they entered revealed new mysteries. As the sun began to set, Taeho made the decision to return to base. But first, he posted guards around the crash site. This discovery would change everything, and he wanted to make sure it stayed protected. On the ride back, Dr. Park and Kim Dong-woo couldn't stop talking about what they had seen. "The technology is incredible," Dr. Park said. "Some of those systems look damaged, but the basic design is centuries ahead of anything we have." "The weird thing is," Kim Dong-woo added, "a lot of the damage looks like it could be fixed. I mean, if we understood how their systems worked." Taeho listened to their excited chatter and felt a strange sense of hope. Humanity had always been good at fixing things, at taking broken machinery and making it work again. Maybe, just maybe, they could figure out this alien technology. Back at base, he sent an encrypted message to Seoul. Within hours, the mountain outpost was buzzing with activity as the government prepared to send their best scientists and engineers. The abandoned alien ship sat in its mountain clearing, damaged and forgotten by its original owners. But Captain Lee Taeho had a feeling that this was just the beginning of something amazing. Humans had found their first piece of alien technology, and they were going to learn everything they could from it.